It's Livia. I'm here at Summerfest with my friend Carol Adams.
Hi, everybody.
Carol, will you tell a little bit about yourself?
I grew up in upstate New York. I loved animals. I studied women's studies before it was women's studies. And I discovered that I love writing books.
Yay! And was your family feminist when you were growing up?
Yes, because we were three daughters with a very activist mother and a father who challenged us all the time, who believed in us, and he was very disappointed. He would say, "Rocks in your head," when we had the wrong answer. And the thing you didn't want to do was have rocks in your head.
That's good.
Very stimulating, he taught us to be competitive and achieve. And I think sometimes I try not to work as hard because it's so ingrained. I try to learn how to relax.
Yeah. And when did you write the Sexual Politics of Meat?
So I had the idea for the Sexual Politics of Meat in 1974 when I was 23. And the book did not come out till 1989, December 1989. 15 years it took me to figure out how to write that book. So I was writing it, but I also did other things. I worked in an anti-poverty agency, and I started a hotline for battered women, and I worked against racism. And all that time, I was learning about what I call interconnected oppressions. And so when I finally, in 1987, sat down to really try to finish writing the book, I could draw on all these experiences I did not have. So now when I look back on it, I know that I was sort of incubating the idea, and anybody can incubate an idea.
Yeah.
But when I was in the middle of it, I did not know that's what I was doing. I was very kind of sad, like, why can't you finish this book, Carol? Get this book done.
Yeah, I think a lot of us feel that way. So when did you go vegan?
So I went vegetarian in 74. I tried to go vegan in 75. Now, vegan was hardly known then, and the soy milk was pretty awful. And I remember going to somebody's house. In fact, it's in the Sexual Politics of Meat. People don't realize I'm struggling with veganism there. And she's got a pound cake, and I take the pound cake because I just thought it's hard enough to be a vegetarian. I'm not ready. Which now when I hear people say that, I try to help them think a different way. But I did not know myself how to think a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was working on Sexual Politics of Meat, I realized that I needed to give a name to dairy products and eggs that showed the female exploitation going on. So this is another thing I want to encourage all your viewers to do. Be creative. It's okay to invent. So I invented a word, feminized protein. And it's the protein we're getting from cows and chickens. And of course, once I thought of it and named it,
you couldn't do it.
That's right. And it's been vegan ever since.
Yay!
Happy.
And did you ever come across trouble in your journey?
Well, I'll tell you. You know, when you write your first book, you want people to love it. And when you've worked on a book for 15 years, it's kind of like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm getting it out. But you know, a book that's called The Sexual Politics of Meat, a feminist vegetarian critical theory in 1989, the majority of people who reviewed the book did not like it. So I would say there were 100 reviews of the book around the world. I'd say probably 85% of them did not like it. And it was only 10 years later when I hired my 10-year-old son to put them in chronological order, and they were all standing there like that. I thought, well, they did not like it, but they had to engage with it. And that was just as important. They did not ignore it. So then I learned, and I also realized, you know, somebody like Rush Limbaugh, do you know who he is?
No, I don't.
He's a blowhard. He's very against women's rights and against equality and against lots of stuff. But he hated the book all summer, one summer, and I thought, my God, if Rush Limbaugh liked the book, I'd be in trouble. I would not have written the book I needed to write. Because if it actually speaks to these people, then I haven't made the point I want to make, which is that veganism is part of a radical rejection of a patriarchal society. And you told me you're reading the book right now.
I am.
I am so thrilled and honored.
I'm about halfway through. I'm really liking it.
Oh my goodness, you know, I've had adults tell me that the book's too hard to read. So they need to come talk to you because they wanted me to simplify it and write it and make a workbook. And I said, I can't do that. It is what it is.
Well, I'm kind of an advanced reader, though.
Well, you are doing great. I'm thrilled that you're reading it.
So, stay tuned for the next video, which I'll be interviewing some other amazing person. Bye!
Bye.